Alright. Alright guys, hopefully the mic's working because I'm going to take this serious. This is my first video with the mic on my GoPro 3 Black. And I'm on my 2006 gsxr 1000. We're going to go for a little ride, a little test. So, as you can see, there is snow on the ground. It's about 35 degrees right now, maybe a little warmer. I'm not really too sure. We'll find out pretty soon. I'm gonna pass the thermometer. This is Jersey riding, and the reason why my channel is called Italian Road Rage is because, one, I have extremely bad rage problems, especially when it comes to riding a bike. A lot of people think I'm a little crazy, but I think it's honestly more something that it's driving, you know, should be taken seriously, and when people drive like fucking idiots, it just really sets me off. So the second reason is this is Jersey, and everyone drives like a fucking idiot here. So let's go. Alright guys, so basically this channel is going to be about all different things, really. I guess just like a biker's blog, nothing too serious. I'm not going to be talking about anything like weird or anything, hopefully. But I've been riding now for only about 4 or 5 months, maybe a little longer, definitely not close to a year. And I started on a Kawasaki Ninja 250. That was a 2009, and it was a nice bike. I mean, the Kawasaki's 250s are really nice bikes until they came out with the 300s. A bit more pricier for that ABS braking, which is definitely going to come in handy. So if you guys are going to start off, I recommend starting off on a 300, not a 250. And get a little more juice for what you're paying. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here, off the bat. This motherfucker's riding my ass. My head's backing off a little bit. So, the 250 was a nice bike. I did a lot of different things to it. When I bought it, it had a nice amount of customization already done to it. But, I put some Joe Florida LEDs on it. I actually loaded it up with LEDs, and it looked real nice. It was all green and special edition. It was a nice bike. I rode that for about a month and a half, and once I got the basics down, which, by the way, when I bought this bike, I always wanted a bike, but I never knew how to use clutch or anything like that. I never ridden a bike before that, and I kind of just bought it out of the blue. I had saved up money, I bought it, taught myself how to drive it and everything. But once I learned how to drive it, after about a month and a half, you know, 250s, they don't do much. It's like driving like a 97 Sentra or something, you know? It's like an old grandma car or something. It's really just to get the basics down. So it just wasn't doing enough for me once I had it down. It was a lot of fun. And after that month and a half, I decided I wanted to get bigger. And it started off with looking at 600s, which, you know, the thing I don't recommend is starting off on anything higher than 250 or 300, whatever. Start off on a 300 or a 250. Don't start off on a 600. There's a lot of different YouTube videos saying you could start on a 600 or start on a 1000 and you should be able to get it down. And yeah, it's true. You could start on a 600, you could start on 1000 as long as you're mature with the throttle. But it's not the maturity or anything like that that you should be worried about. You know, basically these guys are just saying jump on a 1000 and you'll be able to learn. Yeah, that's fucking true. Like, of course you'll be able to learn how to ride it. It's not about learning how to ride a 1000 or a 600. It's about understanding the things that are going to happen while you're driving that bike. When I had my 250, the reason why I'm happy I started on that, even though you're spending a little extra money to buy that and then another bike, is because you understand when something goes wrong, you understand what you're supposed to do on the bike before you start doing some other stuff. So there were times where I was on my 250, I ran over a pothole one time, and you know, I wiggled all over the road and I hit that throttle all the way down on 250. You know, it's forgiving, it doesn't do anything. But I do remember, you know, your hand twitches, it throws that throttle all the way down. Swerved all over the road. It's a light bike, so I was able to get it back, you know, stable. There were times where I would go over bumps, same thing. You hit that throttle all the way down and you feel a jolt, not even a little bit, but you feel it. You know that you hit the throttle. So little things like that that you don't understand will happen when you first start riding. And they still happen to me now, but since I know what I'm doing a little more, if I go over a bump, I ease off the throttle a little bit. Or I change my body position because I know I'm more used to the bike, I'm more used to the road. Now, if those things happened to me when I had this bike, my gsxr 1000, and you hit that throttle all the way down, you're gonna go down. You know, the bike's gonna fly up into the air. It's 35 degrees Fahrenheit. You're gonna go flying. You know, the bike's gonna flip over, and you know, this bike's no fucking joke. I mean, watch. I'll give it just a tiny bit of gas, and it just jumps right up to 50. You know. So imagine that was, I barely even touched the throttle just now. So if that thing twists any more than that, this bike, the front will raise up, and you're not used to the bike raising up, obviously, and power wheelies, you know, you're gonna freak out, you're gonna get nervous, and the worst thing to do on a bike is follow your instincts. You know, I remember when I first heard that, and I didn't understand why people said that, never follow your instincts on a bike because that'll get you killed. And it's true. You should always go against, at least for the most part, go against your instincts. Like when you're going around a turn and you want to brake, don't fucking do that. I've almost fallen off my bike a few times for doing that. When you're going around a turn, if you're gonna slow down, let the bike slow down itself. If you let go of the gas, the bike will slow down very fast. I mean, you see that? It's slowing down a good amount. If you hit the brake on a turn, it'll slow down so fast that all the weight is gonna shift too fast, and you're gonna go right down. So you wanna let the bike do the work, but the most important thing to remember is you and the bike are one thing. You know, like the bike will do what you do. You move, the bike will move. So it's a teamwork thing. As weird as that sounds, the bike will treat you how you treat it. So when you're going around turns, keep the gas on or ease off the gas, but never brake. I'm still not used to, you know, driving too much. I haven't taken any safety courses for turning or anything like that, so I'm not gonna say I'm a semi-pro driver or pro driver, nothing like that. I am just an average motorcycle rider. I take my turns at an average speed. Unless I know them, I'll go a little faster, but I never tilt too much because I don't know, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. And you know, when you take chances on a bike, if something goes wrong, it's gonna hurt. You know, worst case scenario, you're gonna die. There is absolutely nothing here to protect you. So just keep in mind that when you're first learning how to ride a bike, don't go crazy, you know, give it a few months, like you know, just be safe with it. So start off on a 250 or a 300, don't be stupid, don't get on a 600 or a 1000. You know, I'm telling you, you will learn how to ride one of those if you get on one, but that's not what it is. It's not about if you can ride it. Like, anybody can ride a motorcycle, but it's about how much you understand. You know, you're not gonna go into a business and say, yeah, I know numbers, I know math, so put me in the front top line position and let me start working. You know, there's things that you don't know that you're gonna come across that you're not gonna have any idea what to do, you know? So the more practice, the better. The brain will always learn. I remember when I first started riding on my 250, I had no idea how to get the clutch down, and for the longest time, for a few weeks, when I was coming up to stoplights, I would take those lights so slow. When it turned green, people would be honking behind me. I'd be releasing the clutch like real slow. And the reason why is because I was not used to the throttle. I mean the clutch. So when I was going, you know, I had to do that clutch thing real slow, because if I didn't, I would have stalled out. And I remember talking to my dad about it. I said, when am I gonna get used to this clutch? You know, I see people on YouTube, like they're at a stoplight and they just let go of the clutch and they fucking zoom out of there. And he would always say like, yo, you get used to it. And I'm like, I'm not seeing it. I don't feel like I can get used to something like that. And it's not about you getting used to it. Like, yeah, you get used to it, but it's one of those things that your brain naturally starts getting used to by itself. The more that you practice, the better it will start becoming. So yeah, you don't want to be riding a 600 or 1000 without any experience. You know, these bikes are not a fucking joke. You hit this throttle too hard, the bike will, you know, it'll punch you. So, you know, I'm still getting used to it. I was riding a 250 for a month and a half. I'm not saying that I waited long enough at all, but I do believe that when it comes to maturity with the bike, I definitely take it very seriously. Not saying I don't have a little fun. You'll see right now I'm gonna have some fun, but I don't do anything crazy or stupid, I guess, like weaving in and out of traffic like that. That's the kind of stuff that get you in trouble. But even for a month and a half on a 250, as long as you know you're not going to be stupid with the bike, you should be fine. As long as you got that experience down. Just so that you know. Honestly, in my opinion, I would say at least 2 months on a 250. Get the basics down, make sure you know the road, make sure you know how the bike's gonna act on certain you know, different kinds of terrains and stuff. Pushing it. So, you know, it's fun for the road. To me, switching gears is a lot of fun. I really like switching gears. It kind of gives it a little bit more interesting of a ride. On this bike, I can get it up to 100 miles per hour in first gear and not have to switch gears. Not saying you should do that. But, you know, when I speed off like that, I'll go up to 100s, pop it into second gear. But on the main roads, you're not going to be changing gears. You know, maybe on a 50-mile-per-hour road, you're going to... Maserati. You know, you're not going to be changing gears unless you're on a 45-mile-per-hour road. If you don't like the sound of it being too loud, you don't like the engine running too high, you know, you can pop it into second gear and quiet it down a little bit. Other than that, you're not going to be switching gears. A 600, I can't say. I've never been on a 600. I don't know what they feel like. I don't really care for them. You know, I'm about acceleration, and that's what I like. I like having fun while being smart, you know. You see, I'm not going to speed, you know, constantly. Like, I find my open paths, I accelerate for a little bit, and then I slow down. I'm never weaving in and out of traffic. That shit will get you killed, guys. You can be as pro as you want, but I'm telling you, these cars do not see you on the road. They might hear you, but they don't know where you're coming from. So it's not worth the risk. You know, if you're a daredevil and you understand the fact that if you go off, you're gonna probably either get some, you know, lifelong injuries or death possibly, then go ahead, you know, have some fun, do whatever you want. I'm not about that. You know, maybe over time when I start feeling more comfortable in lane purposely. But I really want to learn how to do clutch wheeling, because from what I hear, it's a lot smoother. You know, a power wheelie, you know, it's very it's kind of a weird feeling. You know, the bike just launches up, and it's a weird feeling. You know, you feel like you're not really in control. The wheel turns and everything. So I can see why the clutch wheelie would be more controllable. You know, you're, instead of speeding up into a wheelie, those RPMs are already high, so as soon as you let go of the clutch, the bike will kick right up instead of you know, very quickly getting it up, but still you are using the speed to raise the bike. Either way, wheeling is definitely something that, you know,